Pokerogue is a free-to-play web browser game of Pokemon where you battle through waves of Pokemon aiming to defeat the final boss at floor 200. This is the story of how I managed to beat Pokerogue. You begin by picking starters for your run, and initially your only options are the 27 actual starters. You have 10 points total to pick your starters, and each starter costs between 2 to 4 points. Other starters that you obtain later through runs can be worth more or less than that amount of points. From watching videos, I knew two Pokemon that I wanted to start with, Bulbasaur and Fuecoco. Leech Seed is instrumental for the final boss, and Torch Tongue Skeledirge is absolutely broken due to the fact that stat changes in Pokerogue persist between battles until you leave a world every 10 floors or begin a trainer battle. My first run began battling waves of weak wild Pokemon. After every battle, you have the option to choose a free item and spend money on healing items if needed. I got through the first trainer battle with relative ease, but then on floor 8, Ivy appeared, and she's your rival as well as the most threatening trainer in the entire game. She thankfully wasn't too bad this first battle though, and I beat her easily. I went through the remaining worlds until I came across my first boss Pokemon. Boss Pokemon in Pokerogue have multiple HP bars, passive extra abilities, and get random stat boosts when you take them down to a lower health bar. I took it down without any issue and went on to the next world. I caught a boss Lopunny on floor 20 and quickly went on to the next Ivy battle at floor 25. I was badly underleveled and unevolved for this fight. The only Pokemon left standing at the end was Crocalor, and on floor 27 I lost my first run of Pokerogue. One of my mistakes was that I filled out my team too early and didn't have enough experience to go around the whole team. I started my second run, losing to a trainer on floor 13 to a Scraggy. I went in again and lost in even worse fashion on floor 9. I wasn't even getting to the point where I could get egg vouchers to get more starters, but I knew that if I had the right pair of starters, my runs would go a whole lot better. Unfortunately, part of my footage got corrupted, so I'll go ahead and explain what happened during this part. During one of those runs, I found and beat my first gym leader. After you beat a gym leader for the first time, you get an egg voucher. I used the Shiny Up machine for a reason I'll explain in a second. I found my first shiny in Pokerogue afterwards, a shiny Lokix. This was a massive change, since shiny Pokemon in Pokerogue matter for more than aesthetics. The more shinies you have in your party, the more your luck score increases, which gives you a better chance at getting rare rewards. At some point later on during the corrupted footage, I found a shiny Lapras, which would go on to be in every single run past that point. Now back with the footage, this day had a special event going on where you could have a better chance to find shiny Pokemon during your runs. After beating Ivy during this event, she gives you the Shiny Charm, an item meant to boost the chances of finding a shiny Pokemon. And trust me, I found a bunch of shinies during the event, both from eggs and encounters through runs. The Ivy battles on floors 55 and 95 were long due to the constant switching, but I pulled through and came out on top. At floor 145, Ivy returned with a much scarier team than before, having a 3 HP bar boss Rayquaza with a rare alternate shiny. This thing is insanely tough to take down. Luckily, I beat Ivy this time and ended up going all the way to floor 180, and this begins the Pokemon League Gauntlet, where you battle an Elite Four member every 2 floors until it eventually leads up to a battle against the champion. First up was Lorelei, and even when Skeledirge went down against her last Pokemon, it was an easy sweep. After that was Bruno, and thanks to a Torch Song boost with alluring voice, Skeledirge soloed his whole team basically by itself. Next up was Agatha, and while this battle was a little more tricky to deal with, I still managed to win. The final Elite Four member was Lance. His Dragon types went down fast, but his Dragonite was a big threat, taking out multiple of my Pokemon in the process, but I beat him nonetheless. Now it was time to face Champion Blue, and this was a dramatic spike in difficulty from the Elite Four. Not only did he have a Ho-Oh, yes, legendary Pokemon are on the Champions teams in Pokerogue apparently, but his Pokemon countered and KO'd all the Pokemon on my team with 4 of his Pokemon left standing. I was so close, yet so far, but this just motivated me to keep going and win Pokerogue. A few runs later, I managed to find some good shinies, including a shiny Wo-Chien, which I was ecstatic about. I made it back to the Elite Four and breezed through the Gen 9 members, but I lost to the champion yet again with the same amount of Pokemon left standing on Kieran's team. But even when I lost this close to the final boss, every failed attempt just made me want to keep going and beat the game. That leads us past all the failed attempts after, and straight to the final run. I chose Lapras, Fuecoco, Gastly, and the prankster Cottony for the final boss. On floor 2, I found the Dynamax band, which would come in handy later. I caught a Croagunk on floor 48 and quickly evolved it a few floors later. On floor 116, I caught a shiny Shiftry and made my way through the game without any issue. I got the DNA splicers and fused Shiftry and Toxicroak together soon after finding Shiftry. I then caught a shiny Farigiraf on floor 128. My team never changed again. I completely breezed my way through the remaining floors thanks to Skeledirge's Punk Rock working for 3 of its moves, and got Max Mushrooms to Gigantamax Lapras. Before I knew it, I was already at floor 145, in the second to last Ivy battle. Skeledirge took out her Unfezant with Torch Song and 2 of Rayquaza's health bars before going down, but lived due to a Reviver Seed, a broken Pokérogue exclusive item that heals the Pokemon to half health after fainting. Skeledirge then proceeded to wipe her team by itself, and I was moving on. Right after beating Ivy, I got the Mega Bracelet, allowing for the opportunity to Mega Evolve Gengar. This was important to me, because in Pokérogue, Mega Evolutions are permanent, and Mega Gengar is a really good Glass Cannon. A Glass Cannon is something that can dish out a lot of damage, but can't take very many hits, hence a Glass Cannon. On floor 176, the Gengarite appeared, and this was perfect timing, since this was right before the Pokemon League Gauntlet. This time I got the Gen 3 League, one that I'm more familiar with since I played Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire a lot when I was a kid. Sydney was first up, and Skeledirge took out all his dark types without even boosting itself, which shocked me greatly. Phoebe came after, and she blundered by switching multiple times, allowing Skeledirge to stack up 3 Torch Songs to wipe her team clean out. Next was Glacia, and even though she took out Skeledirge, Mega Gengar was able to come in and clean up by spamming Aura Sphere. Lastly was Drake, and while he had me worried, he couldn't stand the power of Skeledirge, G-Max Lapras, and Glass Cannon Gengar. Finally, it was time for Champion Wallace, and it took every Pokemon I had in their moves to finish this battle. I was handling his team well, until he brought out Terra Electric Regieleki, the fastest Pokemon in the entire series. It started taking out the members of my team, and I thought for sure that I was going to lose this. My only Pokemon left was Farigiraf, and 2 hits from Regieleki would mean restarting all over again. But the game decided otherwise. Regieleki missed the second Thunder Wave, which would have taken me out and allowed me to come out as the victor in this climactic battle. In all of my years of playing Pokemon, I have never experienced a Pokemon fight this difficult. And I've been playing since I was like 9 or 10. All that was left was the final Ivy battle, which I knew included a boss Mega Rayquaza. Skeledirge took out 3 of the 4 health bars, but Rayquaza healed itself back up to 2 bars before taking out Skeledirge. Mega Gengar then started to sweep her team and KO'd the Rayquaza before anything could happen. Her Decidueye took out Gengar, but Lapras finished it soon after. Now that I had beaten Ivy, my heart was pounding and my hands were completely shaking after the Champion and Ivy battles. And that just leaves one major battle left, the 2-phase Eternatus. You finally proved to be a formidable challenge to me, the challenge that I've longed after for millennia. We begin. Oh my gosh, just instantly thrown in. Wow. Well, Eternal Beam does need a recharge. But I can send Farigiraf in. I see, the presence I felt was indeed real. It appears I no longer need to hold back. Do not disappoint me. Oh no. This is where the Leech Seed plays. Okay, we Leech Seed it. And pray that does... Oh my gosh, we're in the clear. Now all that matters is keeping him alive. Making sure Whimsicott does not get in the front. Because if he gets in the front, this entire run is over. The run's almost over. We got this. Come on, Seppi. One more Leech Seed. Yes! 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 Screw you, Pokérogue! I had done it. I had finally beaten the classic mode of Pokérogue with this spectacular team of Pokemon that I could not be more proud of. Overall, I beat Pokérogue with 26 shinies. I said there'd be a lot of shinies at the end of this. A great team and a deep sense of accomplishment. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and if you're new to the channel, consider liking and subscribing. Take care and have a most wonderful day, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next one, Duel Hunters.